Hi, friend, and welcome to another episode of Learn English Through the News. Today's story is a sad one. We will be discussing an article about an 8-year-old girl who was the victim of road rage and was shot by an angry driver. If you're an ESL learner or an aspiring college student, please take out a notebook as I'll be pointing out some academic vocabulary words. At the end of the video, I'll share some tips to avoid getting into altercations with angry drivers on the road. Let's begin. Before we get into it, let us establish that road rage is the act of driving aggressively, and unfortunately, this often leads to violent acts being committed. According to Forbes, road rage shootings have surged by over 400% in recent years, according to the anti-gun violence website The Trace, with TikTok drivers being responsible for shooting 3,095 people. 777 fatally between 2014 and 2023. So people, 777 people died between 2014 and 2023, and those deaths were absolutely avoidable. It's one thing for someone to die from cancer, but from road rage, we can absolutely avoid that. All right. Now, before we go into the first paragraph, you're going to see the word endanger or endangerment in the paragraph, and it just means to put in danger. It is more academic than saying to put in danger. So in your essays in college, if you are in college, you will want to use the word endanger as opposed to put in danger. You're also going to see the verb indict or an indictment, and it means to formally charge or accuse someone of a crime. And please notice also that the pronunciation is indict. The first portion says, and this is coming from a Fox News story, a grand jury in Arizona has indicted a man accused of killing an 8-year-old girl during a road rage incident that happened in late October. According to court documents obtained by AZ Family, 48-year-old Sydney Garfield Garand is facing a count of second-degree murder and 6 other felony charges that include endangerment, attempt to commit murder, and illegally firing a gun within city limits. The father of Cassidy Moreno said the road rage incident began on October 27 when he approached a 4-way stop after picking up his daughters from school. He said Garand seemingly became upset when he turned left in front of him to go south. Garand reportedly turned his Jeep around, then followed the father and his family, which included his wife and 3 daughters. So notice here that all it took for Garand to become upset was for someone to turn left in front of him. The fact of the matter is that people are getting angrier and angrier by the day. And research says that after COVID, it became even worse. So we have to be careful. Before reading the next portion, you will see the verb allege, which means to claim without proof or evidence, to make a claim without having any evidence. For example, the student alleged that the professor was racist. And for our ESL learners, those who are learning English as a second language, you will also see the verb punch, which is doing this, the act of hitting someone with your fist. Now, punch, you know English, words have multiple meanings. Punch can also be a drink made with fruit juices that is usually red in color, and you will see it a lot at parties. An example is provided in the picture here. Next, at one point, Garand allegedly waved. The girl's father said he ignored it. When the vehicles got to an intersection, the father and other witnesses said Garand pulled up directly behind him at a red light. The father had his window down and saw Garand get out of his car and walk toward the other vehicle. Garand then reportedly punched the father through the open window. The family in the car said they then heard gunshots, with one witness reporting Garand fired 5 or 6 rounds. Documents said the mother of the 3 girls turned to look at the back seat and saw that 8-year-old Cassidy sitting in the middle seat was bleeding. The mother called 911 and Cassidy was soon rushed to the hospital in extremely critical condition. Cassidy died later. So in this case, the father is the one who had an altercation with another motorist on the road, and the result was that his 8-year-old daughter, who had nothing to do with anything, is the one who passed away. So if this does not tell you how serious road rage is, I don't know what will. Before we move on to the last paragraph, you're going to see the verb intubate in that paragraph, and it is the act of inserting a tube into a person. And usually this is done, you insert a tube in the trachea of someone or in someone's trachea, and the result is intubation, which is a medical term. Police said Garand and the father were also hospitalized. Garand was intubated and was treated for multiple cuts to his neck, right shoulder, and upper chest area, while the girl's father suffered severe cuts to his fingers. A very unfortunate incident. Now, how can we do better? How can we avoid road rage incidents? For starters, if you're a believer, which I hope you are, then it's very important you pray before going on the road. Number 2, be courteous and patient. Avoid cutting people off because all it does is to provoke them to wrath. Number 3, learn to take deep breaths and calm down. It's not worth losing your life over. Number 4, if you are in the wrong, then apologize for bad driving. Of course, when we're driving, the other driver cannot hear the words we're saying, but we can use hand gestures to communicate that we are indeed sorry. Next, we should practice defensive driving. Be aware of how the other motorists around you are driving and make your decisions accordingly. Next, refrain from making hand gestures or engaging in eye contact with other drivers, especially if they seem agitated. So if they show you the middle finger, refrain from showing it back to them, as that will just agitate them. Next, let aggressive drivers pass you and distance yourself from the situation. Next, use your horn sparingly. This alone is enough to send some people up the wall. Do not use your horn unless it is necessary. And do not tailgate people, as this is a sure way to make them angry. Finally, report aggressive driving to the police if possible so that they can intervene and get the situation under control. I hope this was useful for you. Please be sure to subscribe to my channel for more content like this. Please like this video, drop me a comment, and I will see you in the next lesson.